how good does Gemini get when you give it more and more prompts? Today we are going to test that by asking it to create a game of Angry Birds, but with more and more prompts. So we want to have something like this eventually from the AI created a bird knocking down some towers. We're going to give it 1 prompt and then 5 prompts and see how good it is, and then 10 prompts and see where we are at. So that is the prompt just entered in there. It's currently coding it up, and we will see how good it is after a single prompt. A lot of these now can actually create games in 1 prompt, 1 shot in. Hopefully this will do the same and have a working game for us. Gemini does seem to be the best out of all the models for creating this type of thing, and will give you much more extensive code and many more lines of code, double the amount of code that you would get out of, say, ChatGPT. So hence we are using Gemini. Do you ever think about like how unrealistic Angry Birds is? Because, you know, one time a pigeon flew at full force, smashing right into my window, and it just died, dead as a dodo on the floor. So like, these birds are completely unrealistic. Unless they are eating cannibals for breakfast, I do not see them being able to knock down any house. Okay, it looks like it has finished here. Now that took a bit longer than I was expecting. I had to do it a couple of times, and just in case, I also opened one in AI Studio. But look, you can already see the difference that here in Gemini, the Gemini website itself, it's already, the graphics look so much better, even though I think they're running the same model, and yet, well, that's kind of new. Look at this in the Google Studio, AI Studio. You can now swap into the different screen modes for the different devices. I don't think that used to be there. So we'll just stick with this one for now, and we can use the AI Studio for a backup in case this doesn't work again. But as you can see, it does look pretty good with these graphics. I am impressed, and even this cool font. I know the Angry Birds font is a bit more dramatic than that, but you can see these like lines in here that is trying to give it a bit of edginess, and the shadow, so very cool, and nice rounded curves. So, you know, the weakness of these AIs has been particularly 2D graphical assets. It's been very, very, very poor in the past in all my experiments. 3D it's done slightly better with, though still massive limitations, but it would absolutely create 3D dimensional objects that you could recognize and have details on those things. But 2D graphics were just complete, utter garbage. They would be very blocky and not even look like the thing is supposed to be. Whereas here we are having some nice already. Now, maybe I'm getting ahead of my horse because my cart before my horse, or whatever that metaphor is, because I have not clicked play yet. So we are going to see if it continues or if it's going to go downhill from here. And we will choose level 1. So it looks like it's created 3 levels for us. Does this back work? Yes. So level 1, and we've got 3. Wow. Already, look at that. It's got actual graphics on these Angry Birds and a pig that looks like a pig. Wow, I am so impressed. Now, if we do this, we've got this animation of this slingshot moving backwards and forwards. And if we shoot it at a pig, the house, what is going to happen? Oh my God, that was fantastic. And we've got even these dots showing the trail of the Angry Bird. I'm not sure if that is how it happens in the actual game because I haven't played it in a decade, but, you know, still pretty cool. And I think the goal was to knock over the house, and we have to kill the pigs as well. Let me see if I do that. Boom. No. So last Angry Bird. So maybe there's a slight issue in level completion. Oh yeah, hit the pig there. 6,000. Wow, yeah, so you've got to kill the pig to complete the level. Score cleared. I am impressed. Look at the graphics of this. The eyes, the beak, the tummy, the eyebrows, and the pig. The pigs have eyes that are looking in a different direction. There's nostrils on a snout and ears. It is so fantastically done because these are not images. And look at the wood. It's got like textures on the wood, on the beams. Because if you look at the code here, these are not images. No. The code has actually drawn the pigs and the birds and the wood. If we have a look here, look, it is actually using mathematical equations and circles and what have you, with colours being filled in to craft images. That is so fantastic, because just last week or the week before, I tried to make a Mario game and it failed to even create basic graphics. It was just such a garbled mess. And now, with this new update on the model of the large language model, it can now craft images, graphics out of the code, which is mind-bogglingly cool that it is able to do that now. This is the pig, so we've got the pupils, the ears, the eyes, the nostrils, the snout, and it's all in the right place. And the pig head, and damaged. He has a damaged pig. It's fantastic. I am so impressed by this. Relative to where this was just like a week ago, the graphics have just had such a major overhaul for 2D graphics. I cannot wait to now try other 2D games with more complicated graphics. It is very exciting, because this was the big weakness that 2D games had with these large language models. It was fine if you're making Tetris or Snake because they're just blocks, but as soon as you wanted to put anything graphical in there, you either had to use external sprite sheets, because even making the most basic Dino Run game, which if you saw my video on that, it was so blocky, it looked disgusting. You know, blind elephants could paint using their own poop and it would create better graphics than what these language models were creating only a week ago. And now it has just blown that out of the water. Wow. So let's go back to the next level, see what happens. Okay, so we've got now a more complicated building with 2 Angry Bird pigs, and 3 Angry Birds. So if we hit onto the bottom one, we've got to destroy all pigs. Nice. And it loads in your next bird. Very clever. So if we can directly hit this pig, I think in this third one, we should be able to complete this level. Way. And then we'll go to the next level, and we've got a score that is clocking up nicely. Level cleared, next level. And now we have 3 pigs, but we've got an extra bird, so it's given us some more points. More birds, as we've got more pigs. We would never be able to complete this with 3 birds. So it knew that, and it has given us an extra bird to try and do it with. So I am so impressed. This is the most impressive game I've seen an AI create so far, in terms of the depth in which it has gone to, in how close to the actual thing it is. Now, I may not clear this mission, but still, let's try get that one at the back. Nope. And I guess I failed this mission. What happens if the level failed? Out of birds, retry so we can try again. Wow. So, I don't think we're going to even need any more prompts. I think one thing we could improve would be the the tracking of these dots, you know. But like, this is already a complete game. You know, all we do to prompt it further would be to add in more levels and add in like the explosion birds and stuff like that. But I don't think we even need multiple prompts, because that's just then a, you know, extending the gameplay rather than actually creating anything fundamentally different, which I was not expecting. I kind of thought it was going to be a lot worse and the graphics weren't going to be good and maybe the physics didn't work. I even wrote some jokes about like all of those things being bad, but in preparation for it not being so good. But like, it's so good that I think we will just call this as one shot is all you need for Angry Birds. And in the next video, we will try something else, more complicated games, I think maybe in the future. Wow. Well, before we go though, let's have a look at this one here, see how different it is in the studio. So we click level 1 and see here, this is kind of more what I was expecting. We've got no birds on the screen. This is why I wanted to have multiple prompts, but what's the point of doing that now since we already have a working game on the other one? So obviously this must be using a different model, and this also uses React as a code base, as a framework. So perhaps if you chose a different framework, it may work slightly better, but frankly, I don't really see this experiment needing a second or third prompt, 10th prompt. What would it redo? Just have infinite levels and that would get boring. So I'm going to end it now and say this passed with flying colours. The most impressive game I have seen an AI create, or I have created with an AI. Well, I didn't do the creation. The AI created based upon me prompting it so far. Wow. So this new Gemini model, very good indeed.